Lisa emailed with 3 questions about doing a yes-no spread. And question 1 was, do you begin by turning all the cards upright or reversed so you know if the answer is yes or no or maybe? The second one was, do you include past, present, and future? And the third one is, what happens if the answer is yes, but it's terrible cards? So I'll look at each of these one after the other. So first you shuffle and lay, let's say, 3 cards, and you turn them over. If the card is upright from the point of view of the questioner, or the reader rather, the answer is yes. If it's upside down, it means no, and then you add them up, and the one in the middle counts for 2, right? So you can get a maybe. Like 50-50, 2 of each, 2 upright, 2 reversed. So what do? I think if you turn all the cards and give the reader the questioner the answer and say, yes, it's going to happen, or no, it's not, you run the risk of the person hearing yes and getting excited and not really paying attention to what you're saying because they're already imagining what's going to happen and how they're going to work it out and so on. Or if you say no and they're disappointed or upset, then they also stop listening to you, to what you're saying. And they go off and maybe they're upset or despondent or whatever it happens to be. And that means that if the answer is no and they're upset, you may be able to give them information or help so that they can handle the situation better. But because you've told them no in the beginning, they're not listening, or it's much harder to get their attention and get through to them. And so I think what you do is you turn the first card and say, okay, this card is upright, so you get 1 yes because, and then you talk about the meaning of the card or what's shown in the card or what sense the card makes for the question. And then you turn the middle card and you say, this card is upright, that's 2 more yeses at this point, and this is because blah, 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 and you talk about the card itself. And the third card you turn over. So it means that by the time you've turned the third card and you know the answer to the question, yes or no, or maybe, you've talked about various bits and pieces that can be useful or important or informative for the questioner. So by the time you get to the answer of yes or no or maybe, it's a different person who's hearing yes or no than the person who asked the question, because they've been given information or ideas or suggestions, or they've remembered certain things because of what you've said. So generally speaking, with a yes or no, turn the first card, talk about it as a yes or a no, turn the middle card as a yes, talk about it as a yes or a no, and then turn a third card and talk about it. And I think that's a much better approach than just beginning with a yes or a no. Second, do you include, because we've got 3 cards and we can do a past, present, future also with 3 cards, do you in some way incorporate past, present, and future into the yes-no spread? And the answer is no, because it's a bit like you want to know yes or no, and it's a bit like 3 approaches to a particular situation. But they don't have to be about the past or the present or the future. Maybe they're all about, yes, you should do this because of all 3 cards talking about what's happening what will happen in the future if you go ahead and do this thing. Or it's a bad idea because if you go ahead with it, then all these 3 things are going to happen in the future. So it's confusing matters if you look at if you try to incorporate past, present, and future into a yes, no. Stick with 3 indications of whether it's a good idea or whether it's going to work. Forget about past, present, and future. And then the example that Lisa gave was, what happens if the answer is yes? So let's say you get the Tower, the Devil, and the 9 of Swords, none of which are particularly pleasant cards. But if the answer is yes, what do you do when the answer is yes, but it's the Tower for upset, the Devil, and the 9 of Swords? So what you do is, I think you have to stay, if the question is, if the person wants to know yes or no, you have to tell them yes or no. You don't say, I don't like the look of those cards, so I think you ought not to do it, so the answer is no. That's not what the reader's supposed to do. So you turn the cards, and if you get you give the answer. It's like, let's say it's the Tower upright, the Devil upright, and the Nine of Swords upright. You give the answer is yes, but then you look at the cards, the 3 cards. So maybe if the question is, will I get a promotion? And you get the Tower, the Devil, and the Nine of Swords. Yes, you're going to get it, but it's not going. With the Tower, which is upset, it's not going to be what you're signing up for. Is not what you think you're going. Is not going to be actually what you think you're signing up for. There's going to be a change because the Tower is there. So if you've signed a document that you have to take the job, you have to take it, but go into it understanding that, or don't be surprised when it turns into something else, a different kind of job or different responsibilities than you think you're getting involved with. And with the Devil, you're going to feel trapped. And with the Nine of Swords, you're going to have nightmares. As one way of looking at it. So if you have to take the job and you still want it, go into it understanding that it's not going to be sunshine and roses, right? Or whatever the expression is. Sunshine and Lollipops, I think, was the name of a song once upon a time. So it's not going to be great. You're going to have challenges. So, but the answer is yes. Let's say, or maybe the person says, should I take this job? And you get yes, and you get the Tower, the Devil, and the Nine of Swords. Yes, you should take it because you're going to learn something about it, about yourself and about the job and about how you relate to it and about what your strengths and weaknesses are. So it may not be that pleasant and you may not stay long in this position, but you said, should I take it? And the answer is yes, so you have to take it and see what you learn. It'll teach you a lot, which is why the answer is yes. I imagine that you have to take it or you ought to take it. Whereas somebody wants to know, should I marry this person? And you get the Tower, the Devil, and the Nine of Swords. Then you ask, should you do it? And the answer is yes. And why not? You go into it. Don't be the beginning of the marriage is not going to stay like that. There's going to be an upset. There's going to be a change. So you may discover something about the partner, or something could happen to the partner. Let's say somebody, maybe the partner will lose a job that you weren't expecting. So if let's say the Tower represents the partner losing the job, yes, you marry him or her. The person loses a job, so you feel trapped with the Devil, but you're in it together. What are you going to do about it? And your first reaction is going to be, what have I done? Because you wake in the middle of the night and your hands are over your face. So you have nightmares, but it's up to you to figure out how you're going to solve the problem. So if you go into the marriage thinking it's going to be wonderful and the greatest day of your life and you live happily ever after, you're going to be disappointed. But if you understand that when there are challenges, when something unexpected happens, shown by the Tower, you're going to feel stuck. And your first reaction is going to be, I don't want this. But the point is, what do you do about it? How do you deal with it? So the Nine of Swords would seem to be the key to exit, or the key to solving the problem, or the key to getting out of the difficulty. Okay, that was it. Tomorrow, I think I'm talking about batons, a suit of batons, because somebody asked what they mean. She has trouble, because the various sources will give you different information about what batons represent. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.